Our reliance on tech definitely feels like it's increased in recent years, and what I felt was initially supposed to be simplification, if anything, has made our lives more complex. We're probably carrying around a smartphone. Almost definitely. You probably have a set of earbuds with you most of the time when you leave the house, and the chances are that you may well be wearing a smartwatch as well. In my case, I wear the Apple Watch pretty much daily. But that means you need to keep all those devices charged, and that's even more of a challenge when you're travelling. At home you might have the perfect setup, but uprooting that and carrying it with you whilst you travel is never the easiest thing. And what's probably worse is that you need to buy multiples of them if you want to travel and not have to disconnect everything. And then in addition to that, you need to carry all that stuff around, which means you might be carrying around multiple wall plugs, you might be carrying around various different cables, wireless charging pads. It all becomes really cumbersome very quickly. The Charge Tree Go by Smarter Than Most, STM, an Australian brand, is supposed to answer all of that and make your life a little bit less complicated. First off, you have the Apple Watch charging pad. Now that folds neatly into the device and doesn't take up any additional space. And then you can fold it flat and suddenly it's the size of a slightly older smartphone. And you know what? Yeah, I'll take that. You can fit that into a bag nice and easily. And all you'd need from here on out is a USB-C charger. I have here a cable and a wall adapter or a battery power bank. Now in my case, I have the Anker PowerCore 3 Elite 26K because that can output up to 60 watts. Now, Smarter Than Most say that you should have at least a 20-watt charger in order to use the Charge Tree Go. Now, I have successfully used it with less, but if you have 3 devices on here, you probably are going to limit the amount of, or the charging speed that you're going to get. Now the reason why I have this weird looking cable here is it actually has a readout so we can see how many watts the charger is sucking from the battery, and just to give you an idea of how fast it's going to charge each device. Now Smarter Than Most does actually give you the output for the various charging points on this Charge Tree Go. So the front pad will output up to 15 watts. Now they are right in terms of pointing out that most smartphones will only take up to 7.5 watts, and that is 15 watts in ideal conditions, so you will not always see that. So let's start off with putting an iPhone on here, specifically my 13 Pro, and see how fast that charges, or rather at what rate it's charging. So once you put a device on here, it is going to take a few seconds, potentially a couple of minutes, for the actual charging rate to be determined by the charger. It will usually fluctuate quite a lot until it finds a point where it's happy, and even then, as your battery capacity changes, it will fluctuate more. So we're not going to get the most accurate reading from this. I just wanted an idea of how fast this would charge at. Currently it's sitting at around 10 watts. It's telling me that it's using USB-C power delivery, which is how we're getting that higher rate of charging from the battery bank. And if anything, as time goes on, I'm starting to see it fluctuate between 13 and 14 watts. So overall, that's what I'd expect from my phone. It might go up slightly more, but it is already partially charged. So this is roughly what I'd expect, and I think it's pretty good performance. Next, let's open up the side point. Now I have here a pretty much discharged Apple Watch Series 4, so I'm just going to put that on there. That's going to take a few seconds as well, because obviously it being completely dead, it's going to take a while to register. And then lastly, we have the charging point on the back. Now, this is designed, they say, for the AirPods or AirPods Pro, but actually it's just the standard Qi QI charging pad. And in this case, I recently had the review of the Jabra Evolve 2 buds, and if I put them on here, they will start charging too. We'll just double check we get the green LED on the front, so I haven't, no, definitely had them the right way around to begin with. And we have the green LED lit, so now we know that's charging too. And currently, the charger is pulling between 15 and 16 watts from this battery power bank. So we're seeing pretty much what I'd expect. Good output to the phone, the watch is charging at 1 or 2 watts, and then the Jabra Evolve 2 buds are charging at 1 or 2 watts as well. And there you have it. That's 3 devices charging from a single USB-C cable with no issues. Leave this overnight and you will have all 3 fully charged devices and nothing to worry about. I like the fact that they thought about the fact that this is going to generate some heat, and we actually have cooling ports on the side where hot air can leave the device and cool air can re-enter it. I think that's well thought out, because wireless charging pads can get very warm, and if you're pulling 20 watts, that's not actually a small amount at that point, so that's definitely good. The actual device, without all my devices on it, weighs 200 grams, which I don't think is outrageous. Again, this feels well built, and as a result, I'm glad it's a bit heavier because it means that it's probably not going to fall apart and you can carry it around a lot. I have used it for a couple of days, and it's been a great experience, to be honest. I used it on my bedside table because I haven't really been traveling recently, but it was really easy to set up and I could just plug it in and it'd work. I also found that when I took it into the office, it's just super quick to set up and quite nice to be able to have everything on charge if for some reason I didn't have time to charge them earlier in the day, or I've had to use an assaultedly large amount of battery life and all my devices are empty. Just to give you a quick update, during this it's now settled at about 17 watts. I've seen it as high as 18, so overall this is kind of what I'd expect, and I just think it's actually quite a well thought out device. But how expensive is it? So although I hadn't heard of Smarter Than Most before, possibly because they are a mostly Australian brand, I saw the pricing on Amazon is currently around £42-ish. There's, I think, currently even a discount, so it's below £40. That is definitely worth it. I definitely feel this is a premium product and I would be happy to pay slightly more for it. There is also a version of this that isn't designed to be portable but still has a sliding Apple Watch charger on the back. So if you want something just for your home that doesn't fold flat, looks a little bit sleeker as a result because you don't have all the hinges, it's slightly less boxy. That's something you may want to consider. But the Charge Tree Go, in my opinion, is a really good wireless charger that fills in a good gap of how can I charge all my devices at the same time. So I hope you like this review. If you have any questions about this wireless charger, pop it in the comment section below and I'll try and come back to you. Equally, if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, do subscribe as it really does help me out. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope I see you again next time. Goodbye.